They ruled the Red Sea. They controlled the trade routes of gold, ivory, and frankincense. Their kings called themselves King of Kings. They rivaled Rome. They rivaled Persia. They were the first empire to convert to Christianity. Then they vanished. What happened to the Aksumite Empire? The chronicler described Aksum.
This is the greatest city in Africa. Its palaces are made of stone. Its towers reach toward heaven. Its kings are feared from Egypt to India. No enemy dares approach its walls.
The Aksumites built giant obelisks called stelae. The largest stood over 100 feet tall. They were carved to look like buildings with windows and doors. They marked the graves of dead kings. The chronicler examined the stelae.
These stones were quarried miles away. They were carved without iron tools. They were raised without modern machinery. No one knows how the Aksumites did it.
Aksum controlled the Red Sea. Its ships sailed to India, to Arabia, to Rome. Gold flowed into Aksum. Silver flowed into Aksum. Silk flowed into Aksum. Every ship that passed through Aksumite waters paid tribute to the king. Aksum minted its own gold coins. They were found as far away as India and Rome. The coins prove that Aksum was a trading superpower.
Every coin that bears my face is a message to the world. Aksum is powerful. Aksum is Christian. Aksum cannot be ignored.
Today, the ruins of Aksum stand in northern Ethiopia. The stelae still rise above the fields. The palaces are rubble. The ports are dust. The empire is gone. But the stones remain. The Aksumite Empire began around 100 AD. A local king united the tribes of the Ethiopian highlands. He conquered his neighbors. He built a capital at Aksum. He called himself King of Kings. The chronicler described King Ezana.
Ezana is the greatest of the Aksumite kings. He conquered the kingdom of Meroe. He conquered the kingdoms of southern Arabia. He made the Red Sea an Aksumite lake.
The king's armies swept across the land. Enemy cities burned. Gold and captives were taken back to Aksum. The king's power grew with every campaign. An inscription recorded Ezana's victories.
I am Ezana, King of Kings. I have conquered the lands of the south. I have conquered the lands of the north. I have conquered the lands across the sea. My empire stretches from the Nile to the Indian Ocean.
The chronicler described the empire's reach.
Aksum controls Egypt's trade with India. Aksum controls Arabia's trade with Africa. Aksum controls Rome's trade with the East. The empire is rich beyond measure.
Merchants came from every corner of the known world. They bought ivory from the interior, gold from the south, and rare goods from the west. They sold everything to Rome, Persia, and India. Aksum sat at the center of it all. The port of Adulis was the busiest harbor on the Red Sea. Ships from India, Arabia, and Rome all docked here. The king taxed them all. Every transaction made Aksum stronger. In the 4th century, a Syrian missionary named Frumentius arrived in Aksum. He converted King Ezana to Christianity. Ezana made Christianity the state religion. Aksum became the first Christian empire in history. The chronicler described the conversion.
Frumentius told the king about Jesus. He said Jesus died for the sins of all men. He said Jesus rose from the dead. The king believed. The king was baptized.
An inscription recorded Ezana's faith.
I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I have destroyed the temples of the old gods. I have built churches across my empire. All my subjects will worship the true God.
The chronicler described the new churches.
The king built churches of stone. He built churches carved from mountains. He built churches hidden in caves. He wanted his people to worship in beauty.
The Bible was translated into the Aksumite language and written in their own script. Every Aksumite could read the Word of God in their own tongue. Faith and literacy grew together across the empire. The Aksumites worshipped with drums and incense. They danced before the ark. They sang praises to God. Their faith was strong and their faith was joyful. Aksumite coins began to feature the cross. The cross replaced the old pagan symbols. The empire announced its faith to the world. Everyone who traded with Aksum knew this was a Christian kingdom. Ezana did not only build churches. He also built an empire. He conquered the kingdom of Meroe in modern Sudan. He conquered the Himyarite kingdom in Yemen. He controlled both sides of the Red Sea. The chronicler described the invasion of Yemen.
The king sent his ships across the sea. The fleet was so large that it covered the water. The enemy saw the ships and surrendered without a fight.
An inscription recorded Ezana's victories.
I have conquered the Noba. I have conquered the Beja. I have conquered the Himyar. I rule from the Nile to the Indian Ocean. I am the King of Kings.
Conquered Meroe bowed before Aksum. The people who had built pyramids like the Egyptians now sent tribute south. Aksumite governors were placed over their cities and their wealth. The chronicler described the tribute.
Gold came from Meroe. Slaves came from the desert. Incense came from Yemen. Every conquered land poured its riches into Aksum. The empire was drowning in wealth.
The king wore gold on his wrists, around his neck, on his fingers. He was covered in gold from head to foot. His palace had 100 rooms with marble floors and ceilings carved with angels. No palace in the world was more beautiful. Aksum grew too fast. The population exploded. The farms could not feed everyone. The forests were cut for firewood. The soil washed away. The empire was eating itself. The chronicler noticed the changes.
The hills are bare. The rains are scarce. The crops are failing. The people are hungry. The king does not see it. He is too busy building churches.
Every tree for 50 miles had been cut. The king needed wood for his buildings. The people needed wood for their fires. There was no wood left. The soil was washing into the rivers and disappearing. The chronicler described the drought.
The rains did not come this year. The rivers are dry. The wells are empty. The crops are dead. The people are dying.
An inscription recorded the crisis.
The harvest has failed. The people are crying for bread. I have given them grain from my own storehouses, but the grain is gone. The people are still hungry.
The people were starving. They ate roots, bark, and whatever they could find. The king had opened the granaries, but there was not enough. There would never be enough. The empire was weakening. The people were leaving. They walked away from the capital, away from the king, away from the God who could not save them. In the 7th century, a new power rose in Arabia. Islam. The Arabs conquered Egypt. They conquered Persia. They conquered the lands around the Red Sea. Aksum was surrounded. The chronicler described the Arab threat.
The Arabs have crossed the sea. They have conquered our ports. They have taken our trade. The king's ships cannot leave the harbor. The king's merchants cannot sell their goods.
Aksum stopped minting coins. The economy collapsed. Without trade there was no gold. Without gold there was no army. Without an army there was no empire. The chronicler stood at the port of Adulis.
The port is empty. The ships are gone. The merchants are gone. The trade is gone. Aksum is cut off from the world.
The soldiers could not be paid. New weapons could not be bought. New recruits would not come. The enemy grew stronger as Aksum grew weaker with every passing season. An inscription recorded the losses.
The Arabs have taken our ports. The Arabs have taken our trade routes. The Arabs have taken our gold. Aksum is shrinking. I do not know how to stop it.
Aksum retreated into the highlands. The empire became a kingdom. The kingdom became a tribe. The tribe became a memory. What had taken centuries to build fell apart in decades. The kings abandoned Aksum. They moved their capital south to the mountains of Lasta. They built new churches and new palaces. But they never regained their power. The chronicler described the new capital.
King Lalibela has built new churches. He has carved them from the living rock. He has hidden them in the mountains. The Arabs cannot find them. The Arabs cannot destroy them.
A priest spoke of the vision behind the churches.
These churches are a new Jerusalem. The king built them because the real Jerusalem was captured by the Muslims. Our people can still worship. Our people can still pray.
The chronicler described what remained.
A few coins. A few inscriptions. A few stelae. The empire is gone. The churches still stand. The memory remains.
Today, the rock churches of Lalibela are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Thousands of pilgrims visit every year. They pray in the churches carved from stone by the kings who could not save their empire but could not stop believing. Scientists have studied the fall of Aksum for decades. They have found many answers. Climate change, deforestation, soil exhaustion, trade collapse. All of these things killed the Aksumite Empire. The chronicler described the first cause.
The Aksumites cut down their forests to build their palaces. They did not plant new trees. The soil washed away. The farms failed. The people starved.
There was a megadrought in the 6th century. The rains failed for decades. The crops died. The people died. The empire never recovered from it. The chronicler described the third cause.
The Arabs took control of the Red Sea trade. Aksum lost its source of gold. Without gold, the empire could not pay its soldiers. Without soldiers, the empire could not defend itself.
The Aksumite army was exhausted. They had fought wars for centuries. They had no new weapons, no new tactics, and no new recruits to replace the dead. An inscription captured the despair.
I look at what my ancestors built and I cannot hold it. The rains do not come. The merchants do not come. The soldiers do not stay. I am a king of ruins.
The empire is gone. But Ethiopia remains. The faith remains. The people remain. The empire died. The nation lived. Any one of the causes could have killed Aksum. All of them together destroyed it. The stelae are the ghosts of Aksum. They remember the kings who carved them. They remember the priests who blessed them. They remember the people who worshipped before them. The chronicler touched the stone cross.
This cross has stood here for 1,500 years. It has seen empires rise and fall. It has seen kings come and go. It still stands. It still prays.
The priests still worship at the foot of the stelae. They still sing the songs of King Ezana. They still pray to the God who saved their ancestors. The ceremony has not changed in 15 centuries. An inscription recorded the final words of the last king.
I built this empire. I built these churches. I built these stelae. I thought they would last forever. I was wrong. Nothing lasts forever.
The chronicler walked through modern Aksum.
The people here are the descendants of the Aksumites. They still farm the same land. They still speak a language that came from Guizi. They still worship the same god. The empire is gone. The people remain.
The empire did not fall. It faded. It became something else. It became Ethiopia. Every empire falls. Every city crumbles. Every civilization ends. The Aksumite Empire was one of the greatest of its time. Now it is dust. The chronicler looked at the ruins one last time.
The stones ask a question. Why did you not see it coming? Why did you not stop it? The empire is gone. The kings are dead. The stones remain.
The chronicler spoke his final words.
Aksum is a warning. The Aksumite Empire was one of the greatest of its time. Now it is dust. Remember Aksum. Remember what happened. Remember that it could happen to you.
An inscription carved into the last standing steel recorded the words of the final king.
We were the greatest empire in the world. We rivaled Rome. We rivaled Persia. We were the first to carry the cross. And we are gone. Let our fall be your lesson. Let our stones be your warning.